Hey, it's Cyber Saloon. So this video is going to be me going over the first season of Eden Zero, because I know the second season's about to drop on Netflix. But I was doing it episodically, and I do apologize that I never finished it out episodically, and I kind of just fell off the map for a couple of months. Not going to go too much into it because this is just a video review. Plus, I just want to get to the point. Had some pretty major medical issues come up over the past couple of months, and on top of that, I work in the logistics industry. As you can imagine, it's been kind of a nightmare over the past couple of months. So just had that going on, but I'm confident now, which is why I'm uploading this video, that I can start putting these videos out again. And I plan to review Eden Zero Season 2 episode by episode, but I'll get into that at the end of this video. So the series overall, I thought was really good. I just want to kind of give my overall thoughts on the characters, the voice acting, animation, what I thought of the series overall, and I honestly really enjoyed it. So when Hiro in manga, like we're all kind of we all enjoy the isekai genre. There's obviously this massive fantasy genre that exists in light novels and manga, and I mean I love it. I'm not saying that. I mean we're all isekai trash, but at the end of the day, I always wish there was more sci-fi. So when Hiro, after Fairy Tail ended, I was really happy when Hiro came out and he's like, oh, I'm going to do the Eden Zero. It's this big kind of space, adventure. I was really happy to learn that, and so when I first started reading it, I was like, oh yeah, this is really interesting. But I was like, you know what? I want to wait till this gets animated, because I was like, I feel like this is something that would be really good and more engaging anime. I don't mean that bad way against the manga, because after season 2 ends, I do plan on reading the manga. But overall, I thought the series was really good. The animation, I thought that JC Staff did a really good job animating this. JC Staff is one of my favorite animation studios. You can just tell they have fun with their work. That's why I really like JC Staff. Every time, like their shows like Danmachi, and all of their other shows that they do, you can just tell they have a lot of fun doing it. And you can tell they really had a lot of fun doing this, not just with the polish, the way that it looked, the atmosphere. Like you can tell, like JC Staff had a lot of fun working on this project, and I can't wait to watch season 2 because of that. So the characters and the voice acting, I thought were really good. So obviously, not your main characters that we have, Shiki and Rebecca. They're really similar to what you have with Natsu and Lucy from Fairy Tail, which aren't too different from what I understand from Rave Master. But that's fine, because I want to explain why. So I feel they're very similar. Shiki's, this happy-go-lucky guy, and he's really he wants to make friends, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, oh, man, all right. But there's more going on with Shiki and Rebecca than I felt is going on with Natsu and Lucy, and I want to explain that. So in Fairy Tail, when you meet Natsu, his goal is just to find Igneel, and that's really about the only thing that he really had going for him. And until we got to Zareth and him being E&D, and obviously that did not pan out very well. But there, and with Rebecca and Lucy, so Lucy, she just basically wanted a home. She just wanted a home, which is why the guild meant so much to her. She just, giving her background. But with Rebecca, I think her background is more interesting. She's just kind of she's someone who has ambition and wants to be this kind of rising star, and she wants to be famous. And it's on the surface, it's that can be really shallow, not too interesting, but she's engaged. I think that it works pretty well with her, just because you see and she's more of kind of a badass. That was my problem, and I think a lot of people kind of had a problem with Lucy, is that too frail, timid, and I don't mean that in a way where I thought she was a horrible character. I thought she progressed really well, especially if you saw that, got it far enough into Fairy Tail where you saw the Tartarus arc. I thought that that arc she did really well, turned her around a lot. But I always felt she was a little bit too shy and timid. That's the reason that I really think Rebecca works better. She's more of a badass. You see that in the first episode when she pulls the, she knows how to take care of herself pretty well. And then the next couple episodes, when they try to catnap Happy again, you see that she pulls the Reaper ult, and you can kind of tell, okay, it's she's not someone, she's kind of already somewhat of a badass, and she's not someone who's too timid and has too to where it's like they're a little bit too weak. It's just like, okay, because that can get old pretty quickly. And like Natsu got old very quickly. I did not like Natsu as a character because I just felt like he never grew. With Shiki, with what we know of his background, he's picked up, and he's already starting out with a very interesting backstory. So with Zareth and Natsu, like that came through about halfway through the arc when they're doing those trials on Fairy Island, and you learn about Zareth being his brother and all that stuff after that. With Shiki, it's already built into his backstory at the beginning, so it's like, oh, he has this really interesting past, and certain other big players like Mother kind of already know about him. And it makes you like, oh, okay, I really can't wait to find out what's going on with him. I mean, certain things about Shiki as well. He's just a little bit more engaging as a character. He's not as much as an idiot. I mean, he is, but not as much as not. I just feel like there's more going on. So basically, I really enjoy Shiki, and Rebecca is our main protagonist. Basically, I think they're really good, and I think they got a lot going on, and it just works a little bit more. Happy, I have no problem Happy being there. Happy just works. It just works. As a character, because it's just like he's just like a great companion to like where it's like he has like great commentary, and Hiro kind of switched it up in this. Instead of Happy just being like an Exceed, like those magical cats from the other world, he's basically like this mech, and I think that works really well. Every time he gets EMP'd, it's always really funny, like where he just goes completely derp and just goes completely blank. I laugh every time, and it honestly gets me. But at the same time, he can turn into a pair of pistols, and Rebecca just starts, yeeting people left and right, can blast people away with them. So he has multiple other uses, and I think that works pretty well. So I have no problem with Happy also being in this too. I'm happy as love a lot of throwbacks too. You see, Hiro does a lot of really good throwbacks. In Rave Master, you had Plu. Not Rave, but Fairy Tail, you had Plu from Rave Master, and you had certain other callbacks, and You see that with Eden Zero as well, for like that episode where you see Natsu and Lucy in the background in the bar. I think it works out pretty well. The only issue that I wouldn't call it issue, but hopefully improves a little bit. In Fairy Tail, I did like the supporting cast a little bit more by the first 12, but I'm gonna hold off on that because I think it might get better. I'll probably say that for my second season when this second season comes out, because I want to see how they develop. Because I thought Gray and Urza were really good supporting characters. I thought they were written well, they were interesting, they had funny quirks. I really enjoyed Urza and Gray. I thought they were great characters, had good arcs, were always really interesting. With Weiss and some of the other characters, I haven't quite hit that yet, but that doesn't mean I don't like them. I don't hate Weiss, aka he has the same design, some of Hero's design. He's has the same design as Loxus' dad, but young Makarov basically. But it's just I feel like he's interesting so far, but he hasn't hit that point where I would call him a good supporting character yet. I think that kind of lacks that so far. But again, I'm not judging too hard just because we're only 12 episodes in. We're still early game, so Weiss could develop. But he's basically like a rogue right now, where it's just like he kind of looks out for himself. There's nothing wrong with that. You can have great characters that are rogues, but he's not as interesting or engaging as what I thought Urza like in Grey were by this point. But that doesn't mean he won't be. I do like him as a character, but I just hope he kind of develops on that front. I like Pino, the little android. And then I know we've already met like Sister and like some of the people who are going to be on the ship. So I think that, that I like them a lot so far too. They're definitely interesting. So on the character front, I really enjoy the characters a lot. Classic Hiro, they're really fun, interesting, quirky so far. In a good way. So those work for me, and again, those are the reasons why I think Shiki and Rebecca work really well as an antagonist. So as for the setting, again, I just mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but I had wished for so long there were more like sci-fi types anime or manga and light novels and stuff that are set in space. I'm really happy that this is. I love the setting. You have this, it's this space adventure to where like there's space pirates, there's all these different planets, there's there's all this weird shit, like there's like that chronophage or the chrono dragon, the one that just shows up and eats time. Makes no sense at all, but it's like, okay, all right, like you still have magical weird shit that exists within this like section of space, and like, you know, intrigue, adventure, like there's like cyborgs, robots, and all this you know, what you expect out of sci-fi, which is great. Because I think sci-fi works really well in this setting, because you can do all the stuff you can do in fantasy. It's just done with technology, basically, in terms of like, you know, these crazy creatures and stuff. You can still do that, even to a more extreme degree, and you can actually play with it more than fantasy. Because it's like with fantasy, you can have a bunch of crazy races and stuff like that. But with sci-fi, you can have like even crazier, weirder ones, just because like, oh, they're from a different planet, and I think that sci-fi is a really good way to do that. So I really enjoy the setting so far. Like, you have all these federations of spaceships. Like, you have this massive pirate fleet with LZ Crimson. Like, it's really cool stuff. Like, I really enjoy it. It reminds me, it reminds me, I'm really happy. It just reminds me of, like, some crazy, like, you know, like retro space adventure. But you have all these different things going on in the setting that makes it really interesting. So I really enjoy the setting a lot. And instead of the guild hall, we have the ship. I thought that was a cool thing Hiro added in. So, you know, the Eden Zero is this big, massive ship. Like, it's like this flying space fortress, you know, like some space Hulk. You know, I think I think there's a lot you can do with that setting. Not even just as a vessel, because they've already turned it into like a giant bougie concert hall, because it has like this giant gold, you know, like it has all this you know, these giant baths in it and all these other crazy things you could ever want if you were in space on it. It's like this big bougie ass ship, and it's like super powerful too because of Weiss's like major hacks abilities. So, and it's just, I just really enjoy, it's like, instead of a guild hall, we have a flying, like, battleship in space, and I think it's a really fun setting, because at the beginning, I thought it was going to be Rebecca's ship, which I thought was funny, which is the dumbass-looking cat ship, but the Eden Zero is a setting I think works pretty well, and I'm really excited, because you could even have, I mean, you could think about it, you could have so many fun filler episodes, which is just doing wacky shit on the ship, and you could make them work, too. Like, if anyone remembers Cowboy Bebop, that filler episode where, like, that weird, like, lobster got out and was, like, biting everyone. You could have some, you know, horror stuff like that. Like, oh, some crazy shit got on the ship. I think it could work for it. So, basically, I really enjoy the setting. I'm really happy it's set in space, and it's, like, this sci-fi space adventure. As for the story, I mean, this first season, these first 12 episodes, as with most shows, they're basically just trying to get world building in. So, what we know little so far, but it's intriguing enough to where it kind of like you're interested. Shiki's whole backstory of this, you know, this galaxy universe changing player on the scale could go good, could go bad. Obviously, we know it's going to go good, but hopefully there's some internal strife or something within him that, you know, is still pretty dangerous. You got Rebecca. She's wanting to get famous, but looked down by everyone. You got Mother out there, which is I think is an interesting, which is like the end goal, right? I think the end goal of the series will obviously still be Mother, and I think that their goals will be the same, because the goals for both of them, Shiki wants to wish his friends back, all of his robots' friends back, and Rebecca wants to be the most popular VTuber, which is basically just like a YouTuber with space. But that's like their main goals, and I think those goals will stay the same. I think that, especially after like that arc where like Rebecca just helped out the YouTubers, like she's already going to get famous that way, like somewhat. She got some clicks, but that's already going to work out pretty well. And I think that, you know, that will still be their goal. I think that Shiki by the end will still want, you know, still have a major something to ask from Mother. And I think it'll probably bringing people back to life because of some crazy shit that happens. I think Rebecca will obviously by the end be this massive celebrity that people kind of look up to. Hamura, I think also, I just now mentioning Hamura for the support. I like Hamura as a supporting character, but I didn't mention her much just because we haven't really seen much of her. But I like what I've seen so far. I think she's really fun as a character. But as for the story, I think we have a lot of good setup. Mother's like this basically like big titty space Galactus, which is basically what Mother is. Because she's this massive being that's like the size of, like, she's larger than planets. Because like we saw in the first episode, like one of those space, like what's like celestial dragons is like this massive entity, and those are like small in comparison to her. She's like she's basically the size of a planet. And I think knowing Hiro wouldn't surprise me if he took some interest. He probably kind of used Galactus as a template to kind of what he's modeling Mother after. And then it works. She's like this mysterious being that's not worshipped, but revered by like most adventurers, because she's like the Holy Grail. Like that's what all adventurers aspire to find. Like, she's like the ultimate space treasure. In a way that I mean that like she's like this giant mysterious figure that can grant you any wish. It's just like it's just that MacGuffin, that treasure that all these adventures are looking forward to. And it's like it works well because Mother's supposed to be in like this region of space where like a lot of creepy shit goes on, and like if you find her, you're gonna get a wish. I don't think it's gonna be as simple as that, but yeah, I feel like there's probably a price you're gonna have to pay to get something from Mother, and it's interesting where her kind of role is, and because she knows Shiki, and so does LZ, and so did I imagine that whoever found the Demon King or whatever that found Shiki knows a little bit about Mother as well. I imagine we'll probably see her too, because she's the one who found Shiki, dropped him off at that giant amusement park. But so far I like what we've seen. We're about to pick up Hermit. I know because they're trying to get to everyone together on the ship. They're trying to build the team right now. They're doing some D&D right now. You got the warrior class with Shiki. You got the rogue with Weiss. It's just like you gotta go get some other of the archetypes. And that's kind of what they're doing right now. I like Sister. I like all the people they found on the ship so far. I like Amora. They're all really cool. I just hope the supporting cast works a little bit better again. But we'll see. That's why I'm not judging too far, because it's just like, we're only 12 episodes in. They could surprise me or add someone else. But so far, I've liked what I've seen. Because so far, but it's just this first season's just 12 episodes, just kind of world building, kind of explaining the world, like what's going on. You have Ether, which is basically like space superpowers, and it's like not many people have it, but they can do some crazy shit. Overall, I really enjoyed the first season. It reminds me, anyone who's watching who has reached this point so far in the review, it reminds me a lot of early Fairy Tail, and I mean that in the best way possible. Early Fairy Tail works so well for me on so many levels. It's fun to watch, like it's engaging. You really like the characters, like the world is this kind of like place that you want to be in. The intros and the outros are great. They especially the outro to season 1 reminds me of so much of early Fairy Tail outros. I really like that a lot. The show works a lot on a lot of levels for me, and I hope that it goes. I hope it does really well, and I hope that Hiro continues to do it for a little bit. And I hope it's planned out a little bit more than what I don't want to get into it, but what the ending of Fairy Tail was, the last half of the last arc of Fairy Tail. I hope he kind of has like a rough idea of how he wants to end it, where he wants to go with it. But I hope he does it for like at least a couple more years at minimal. I know Fairy Tail went on for a while, but I hope that it goes on for a while, because I feel like there's so much you can do with this setting. There's so much, just with Fairy Tail was like this mystical fantasy world that you had all these crazy mages and different types of magic and all this backstory and lore. It's like you can do that for Eden Zero, even on a grander scale. And I feel like there's a lot Hiro could do here and have a lot of fun doing it. So I just hope it does well sales wise, to where it promotes more of it, and Hiro wants to do it for a while, because I feel like there's a lot he can explore here. You can have all these different crazy races on these planets. You have a good setup with a story. The characters are interesting. The characters are using this massive bougie spaceship. So overall, I really enjoyed the series. I can't wait for the second half to come out. I will be doing that episodically. When that does come out. I don't like binge watching. I don't like making, unless I make an exception every now and then, but I really like doing episodic reviews. That's just how I enjoy watching shows. I really don't like binging things, so that's what I got on the docket for now. So this is going to be my first video back, and this is what I thought of the first season being Zero. On top of that, what I got coming up on the docket, though. I'm going to watch, obviously, the second season of Eden Zero, so I can't wait for that to come out, and I'll be doing the first episode of that when it comes out. And then on top of that, I know spoilers, but I'm watching that Assassin show. I've only seen the first episode, but I really, really like what I've seen so far. The animation's great, and I really like the setting, the idea. It's isekai, but bro, no one cares. But it's really good. So hopefully, I've only seen the first couple of episodes. I really like what I've seen so far. So hopefully that's still. But if all goes according to plan, I'll probably do. I don't want to go too late into the game on the Assassin show, so I might just wait on that one unless shit gets really crazy, and then I'll start doing when I catch up, probably within a couple weeks. I'll probably do episodic reviews of the Assassin show, and on top of that, what I guess coming up on the docket is I'm going to be doing. I have tickets to see the Sword Art Online movie Progressive in December when it releases here. I think it's like on the 7th or 8th when I have my tickets to go see it. So I'm going to see that, and I'm definitely going to do a movie review of that one as well, because I'm really excited to see that one. So hopefully it's good. I haven't seen what's coming out next season. I'm going to look on that and see if there's anything that interests me. So far, I really like the Assassin show that's come out this season. I'm going to be doing Eden Zero, of course, and try to see what's going on next season. Again, for those of you who made it this far, for the whole one person, I'm sorry again that I haven't been doing it lately. Again, I just had some. I swear, like all like the crazy things just happened from in around this time of year. I just had some medical problems and kind of been crazy, logistics industry so far. But I think I'm on a good schedule now where I'm going to be able to regularly upload. So I'm pretty excited to do that again because I really do enjoy making these videos. Just like talking about anime. So really can't wait to see hopefully catch up on that Assassin show, and on top of that I can't wait for the second half of season 2 of Eden Zero. I really, really like what I've seen so far. It reminds me again of early Fairy Tail, and which is the best thing because I honestly love to death early Fairy Tail, and I think it's great, and I really like it so far. That's all I got on this one, guys. Let me know what you thought of the first season of Eden Zero. Do you hope that it continues and does well? I hope it does. But I'm pretty excited for the second season. Let me know what you thought of the first season in the comments below, and I will see you guys soon.